when that multi-billion-dollar idea drops in, are you ready to catch it? Do you have the capacity to hold space to actually catch and implement and create the thing of the multi-billion-dollar idea that drops in? Like, can you? Do you really? And did you know that we can be in like the deepest and darkest of trauma and still be in a heightened expansion of the multi-billion-dollar idea drop-in at the same time? Because actually the scale of being down in the darkest and deeps of like traumatizing, baddest relationship breakups and heartbreak and traumatizing shit that goes on in your life and still receive the highest vibrational thoughts. Do you know why? Because actually it's not like up and down, it's actually horizontal and all the things at the same time. I've been on live stream for like the past 3.5 hours in my private group doing Trust Intuition, doing psychic readings. I'm not doing psychic readings right now. My voice is like, even after the full moon ceremony yesterday as well. My battery on my second phone, I've gone through 2 phones already, is about to die. But I couldn't leave here without coming and sharing about, well, I'm not going to tell you exactly what this multi-billion-dollar idea is. When I was driving here this morning, because I had to pick up the second box load of the training manuals that I did the live stream this week, and I showed you like the hard copy training manuals that arrived. So excited. You know, like when I had to pick up the other box. So I was driving here this morning, and I'm just multitasking, and I'm sharing this live stream as I talk. Because my phone's about to die and I'm conscious of like all of the things I want to say really quickly, right? Luckily I can talk quickly because we're good at multitasking, yeah? That's our gift, that's what we do best, and that's why people like us can create multi-billion-dollar empires. But if we have the capacity to trust the ideas that come in, do you trust your intuition enough to trust the big vision, right? This is the biggest thing. And yesterday in our full moon ceremony, it was really about cracking open our heart space and releasing the pain of the ancestral line, not just in our family generational lineage, but also in the sense of like the generational lineage, but of all the, like, I want to say of all the spirits that are trapped here, of the land that has been like traumatized, right? Of all the bad stuff that's happened to tribes and all sorts of things that have been wiped out, like all those spirits are still on the land. Like we can walk through a place, and because we're so sensitive and empaths and we have this gift, some like people feel that harsh, negative, dark energy, right? And if you don't understand what to do with that and how to deal with that, then it becomes overwhelming and we're like, there's something wrong with me and I'm going crazy, right? And so in Trust Intuition, we go into the depth of this. In Trust Intuition closes on Monday night. So another 2 days, I think another 48 hours, the doors are open for. Link is in the title of this live stream. You can find it on my page. Send me a message if you can't find the link and you want the details to join this space. So in that ceremony last night, we did a lot of ancestral clearing, but not just of family generational, but of land generational, of like from eons of time, like back to like when time began. And Lemuria came through really strongly. It's the Beyond Lemuria deck. So I've just brought it with me, but it was really strong about the Lemurian energy through that ceremony as well. The point that I'm sharing about the multi-billion-dollar idea that dropped in this morning. So I got off a call at 7 a.m. this morning with my mentor, because we do what we do when we get up, right? There is no time. Everything like is everything, right? There's no like separation. It's just you're in your flow, you're in your purpose, you're in this space and environment, right? And you're also dealing with things. So for me personally, right, I'm dealing with this, right? This has been huge. It's my leg, it's the whole scenario, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into details of it right now. But let's just say it's been breaking me down to tears almost every second that I'm not working, right? Like it's how it is, yeah? Because I'm still dealing with it. I'm like, there's so many layers of it, right? But the reason I'm sharing that is because we can be in the trauma of things and we can still receive multi-billion-dollar ideas for your business, for your life purpose, for your new career change, for what you're choosing to do in your relationships, for moving house, for not moving house. Like we can still be in joy and creating and getting shit done and doing our purpose work, and we can still be dealing with the trauma. Like I said, with whatever we're dealing with in our life, heartbreak, trauma, whatever it is a low vibration, it's hurtful, we don't want to move, we don't want to get out of bed, we're in grief, we're like blah, blah, blah. And then there's a high vibration of these multi-billion-dollar ideas, because even though we're in this, we're also in this and receiving and creating our life purpose, right? In whatever which way, shape or form that is for you personally, okay? Maybe it's not having a multi-billion-dollar empire, maybe it is, okay? Whatever it is for you, okay? When we can be in two states, like I said, we're in like a low hurt grief from dealing with this trauma about this, but I'm also receiving multi-billion-dollar ideas for my business, right? It's not a high and a low. I see it as this way. It's a horizontal, right? It's all the things rather than like a scale where we have to climb. Yeah, the dark and the light, the bad and the good, the trauma and the like joy, they all live on the same scale. They all are in together, right? And we can like be in all of those pieces, yeah, all at once. Now, even though I was receiving multi-billion-dollar ideas, I just finished crying about, like a situation with this. And I had to pull over, I had to drive here to get here, obviously this morning to pick up the books, and I'd been on live stream sitting here with my beautiful Trust Intuition tribe doing live psychic readings in there because, whatever, that's what we're doing this morning in there. And it's like the biggest thing, okay, and this is the message I want to share. A big thing about this is because I needed to hand over more work than I realized, right? And you might have seen I advertised for a VA this week, a full-time position VA. I've also handed over other jobs to my beautiful reality awareness trained mentors that are working with the Trust Intuition tribe as well. Like there's so much expansion going on, but because I've handed over things and because the expansion is flipped over, like I've let go of control, if you want to call it that. And because I've like handed over more, there's space for the multi-billion-dollar idea. And do you know what? With the multi-billion-dollar idea that dropped in, do you know, actually, I've always known that. That's why I've created everything I've had. That's why but the thing about the multi-billion-dollar idea that dropped in this morning, I was like, wow, that's actually how it can happen now. I've always just known it, right? So the VA position is advertised on my personal page. You can see the like list of requirements on there. So it's on my personal page, Hannah Andrews. You can find that and see it on there. Or send me a message if you want details about that, right? And so the multi-billion-dollar idea that dropped in this morning is actually what I've always known since 2005, since I started building reality awareness in the first place. Like, let's be real. Like, but I didn't quite know how. I've always known that I would be on private jets and super yachts, and people think I'm crazy, and and they're like little thoughts and the shame that I've been feeling about how much I fucking love money, and that I'd be on super yachts and flying in private jets. Like, I didn't know fucking how. I've just always had that vision. And I said this to someone just a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh, maybe it'll happen this way, in a different way. I was like, I've always had that vision. And I said to them, I was like, your vision is yours for a reason, right? Like, not everybody dreams of being on, private jets and multi-million-dollar, like super yachts. Like, do you know what I mean? But I have. And over the years, when I've learned to not tell everybody that, but I'm telling all you guys here, I'm telling everybody publicly. A lot of people know that about me. I still don't know how that's going to happen, right? But I'm like, and over the years, I'm like, when I'm in my down moments, I'm like, well, I don't know why I've had that vision. Like, and it sort of like pisses me off in a way, because I'm like, I don't know. And it's not like it's everything I'm doing is, is like revolves around that. But it also kind of does, but I just didn't know how or why or what the purpose is, right? But it's something that's so close to my heart. Like, I love the ocean. I'm like, makes sense, sure. Like, let's like go super yachting around the world to different surf locations. Like, I'm in, like, why not, right? But the reality is that my purpose and my vision has been there for a reason. Who knows why that is? Like, I don't know, right? The reason I'm sharing this is because this morning when I was driving, after handing over so much work this week and like advertising for a full-time VA position, it's like that level is now allowed the next, like I always say this to people, like, what's my purpose? I'm like, have you taken the next step? Have you taken the next step? Have you taken the next step? My next step has been handing over the level of work that I have in the past 2 weeks, right? And advertising for more people to join the team and all that sort of thing, right? Now, in that, this morning, after a big cry, and also getting off the call with my mentor this morning, because something activated from that mentor call, and it always does. Like, he's fucking amazing. his brain and his knowledge and his wisdom and his whole like thing is amazing, right? This is why we have mentors, because of what they do. They hold a vibration in a space, and they're also magic in their wisdom and what they do. They're like the geniuses, right? That's why we hire mentors, to get where we want to go, right? Which, by the way, I have 2 positions available. I have 2 spots available to work with me one-on-one. There's only 2. These are my 12 months program. There's only 2, and it's application only. So if you know that this is the space that you need to work in, to be in the vibration, in the container, in the energetics of what I'm shifting into with my multi-billion-dollar, not just idea, like I said, like that, what dropped in this morning is a combination of what activated from the reflection that I had with my mentor this morning, and then driving here after like dealing with this and the vibration. Like, it's like we use this trauma to propel us, right? We transform that darkness and it propels us. And that's when that dropped in, when it was space, right? That what dropped in this morning when I was driving, the multi-billion-dollar idea. And like I said, I had to drive, like pull over and put notes in my phone because all these ideas were coming through. But the big multi-billion-dollar idea dropped in at the last minute, at the last point. And I was like, wow. And it wasn't like, wow, that's a great idea, let me create that. It was like, wow, now I see how my vision that I had no idea how would come to life, the structure and the next steps to like, it's like the final missing like pole, if you may, this final like roof going onto the fucking building. Like, I'm like, wow, now I see how that can happen. Until then, I've been following a vision that is so out of my current reality that I had no idea that would be able to come to life, but I just knew it was in my heart and soul, and something so close to like, you know, of course, like, cool, let's go like on super yachts and go surfing around the world. Like, that's not what I'm going to do, but it's also like, okay, let me put a logic to that. You know what I mean? But it's not even that, it's the lifestyle. Yeah, it's the lifestyle. And it's also my purpose in serving humanity, not super yachts. So that's not what it's about, right? It is and it's not, yeah? So in the sense that the... okay, Denise, please go and check out the application and how you apply to work. If you guys want to like join the team, there's structures to follow. If you can't follow structures, it's like... yeah. So there's certain requirements it takes to be part of the reality and awareness team. Let's be real, okay? Multi-billion-dollar empires don't just build themselves, so to speak. The point that I'm sharing is that we can be in trauma, heartbreak, the worst thing in our life totally crumbling and falling apart and wondering what the hell is happening to us. And we can also catch multi-billion-dollar ideas and bring them to life. Because the dark and the light work together. They're on the same spectrum, and we can use the dark and transform and propel us to the light. We can use this energy to shift and propel. Yeah? That multi-billion-dollar idea that dropped in, like I said, I'm really reiterating this. Okay, I'm reiterating this so that you guys can trust your intuition, that you can trust and follow your crazy, so far out of your current reality ideas and visions, and the feeling and the knowingness that you have for your life. Even when you tell people around you and they're like, you're crazy, stop doing that. So, you know, like I got told so much when I came online, like, you know, by the people closest to me, stop doing that psychic shit. What are you doing that online for? Stop doing that. Stop doing those live streams. Stop doing that. Stop doing that and go and get a normal job. Do you know how many times I heard that in the first 3 years of my business? They didn't say much after I earned 100K in 6 months, right? And now I earn that in less than 2 months. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they don't say those things anymore. But those crazy out there visions, like I said, until this morning, I did not understand how that structure could come into place. I did not understand how that could happen. And then this morning, I started crying my eyes out because I was already crying. But then it flipped into crying. I was just like, wow, now I actually see how that's possible. Like, I knew it was possible. I didn't know how. But now I'm like, I got shown the how. And I'm like, right, game on, baby. Let's fucking do this. Trust your vision. Trust what you're here to do. Trust your ideas, right? Susie says, what if I follow my intuition, then I'm hurt by people? So this is where boundaries come into place. Like there's so many aspects of your intuition, right? And this is why we delve into all of this. Like boundaries is one tiny part of it, and trusting your intuition, okay? There's so many intricate aspects, like stemming off all the things that are quote unquote blocking your intuition. And you might think that following your intuition is what you're being guided to do. And there's always, you know, you're always following your intuition, right? And you're always on the right path, right? And so, you know, but the reality is sometimes what we think is what we're meant to do is actually what we're not, and we're meant to go this way, but we're also not listening to our intuition. Like there's so many aspects to that. Susie says, I'm too sensitive, I'm broken. Yeah, and this is where the healing comes into place, right? We can't birth our purpose when we're in a toxic environment. We can't birth our purpose when we're holding on to the pain. We can't birth our purpose when we're not willing to face and heal those issues that are holding us back. Like there's so many aspects to it. And that's why trust intuition is like step by step, and we go through this process. Like I said, the doors are only open for another 48 hours, and then I do not know when I'm opening them again. But the reason that I reopen them is because the training manual's here, and I'm sending out the hard copy training manuals on Monday, and I'm so excited about that. So link is in the title of this live stream. My phone's about to die, but I really wanted to jump in and tell you that no matter your vision, and if your vision's not clear, there's just shit that you need to clear out. And when we clear out, it becomes clearer and clearer and clearer, right? In 2005, I'd done a year-long course in healing before I got the message of reality awareness, right? Do you know what I mean? Like I was meditating, and reality awareness, awakening the consciousness of humanity dropped in. I got visions showing all this stuff. But that was a year after I'd started going through like what I teach in Trust Intuition, right? There's a healing, and then our life, like that's why Trust Intuition becomes a certified healer. It should say Trust Intuition to awaken your life purpose, because that's literally what it does. But I come on here to share this message that your vision is yours for a reason. Even if it's crazy out there and you do not know how it's going to be, but you just know that that's what your life is meant to be like, even though if it's so far from your current reality, it's yours for a reason to trust it. And if you don't trust it, get around people who are trusting their intuition, who are birthing billion-dollar ideas and bringing those babies to life, because that shit's going to rub off on you, and you want to be in that. I love you guys. Remember, you can transform anything, and to trust your vision and trust your intuition, because one day it'll all become clear and you'll be living your dreams and you'll be like, fuck, how did this happen? I love you.